Welcome to my October roundup and empties. I'm trying to be really good and do these on a monthly basis. So without any further rambling, I'm just jumping straight into it. So as per usual, I'm going to talk about non-makeup and makeup empties that I've enjoyed in the past month or so, and what I feel about them. And in the end of the video, I'm going to talk about the few empties here that I have gathered, and we have my wonderful assistant Mona right here producing the cutest little noises and making for the absolute most adorable background. Let's start off talking a little bit about jewelry, and I'm going to circle back to talking about one of my favorite brands, if not my favorite jewelry brand at the moment, which is Ana Luisa. I think I mentioned this a while ago, but Ana Luisa actually approached me over the summer for a long-term, a year-long collaboration. If you guys don't know, I've actually done quite a few collaborations with Ana Luisa since 2020 when they first approached me, and I think the ironic thing is that both times, both with this long-term collaboration and the very first time that they approached me, my first reactions were both being extremely flattered and wanting to say yes, and at the same time wanting to run for the hills. The first time because I didn't know anything about the brand and I didn't want to make promises to talk about products if I don't like them, but over the course of the last few years, as you have probably seen, I've fallen in love with their jewelry head over heels, and it's pretty much 90% of what I wear also on my channel, so I think that's pretty much a testament to how much I enjoy the brand. And with the long-term collaboration, I of course wanted to say yes because I love their brand. I love everything about their brand, actually. I love their message, they're a sustainable brand. I love their jewelry because it's really good quality, but it also aesthetically really fits me. I like jewelry that is not too subtle, but I also don't like jewelry that's too flashy and too loud, so I really like that balance that they have between some of their pieces are quite cutesy and dainty and more subtle, and some of their pieces are something in between, and I really love that something in between. And the final reason that I love them so much, and circling back to that long-term collaboration, is how unbelievably professional they have been with me for all these years that I have worked with them. And when they approached me for that long-term collaboration, my first response was, that's all cool and all, but what if something goes wrong and I have to stop making videos, or I'm not into YouTube anymore and I stop producing content? What are we going to do then? And of course they were super professional about it, and they said that there are of course ways to terminate the collaboration a little bit earlier, and they were very flexible with the content that I would create, adapting to the social media that I have and that I am mostly present on. Obviously, I'm a very small creator. I have not really been approached by any big brands, but I've been approached by some brands here and there, and especially a lot of random Instagram jewelry brands. And I can tell you there's a world of difference in how I perceive when some randomo approaches me on Instagram to represent their jewelry, and when, someone from the marketing team of a company approaches me via email with a very clear, transaction and an actual contract and deliverables and what am I getting, what are you getting, everything is very clear. So I just wanted to express my huge love for Ana Luisa, and now I wanted to show you the pieces that they sent me recently. Let me zoom you in so that you can see them a little bit better. So these earrings here are actually something that they have done before. This is a style of earrings that they've had in the past, and they happen to be one of my favorite pieces of jewelry that I have in my collection. And I originally had them in this beautiful green color, and when I saw that they now offer them with the little black stone, I was ecstatic because I actually really wanted to have something with a black stone, especially now for the winter months when I think it would be really, really appropriate. The other pair of earrings that I wanted to show you from them are actually, I'm wearing right here this one in my second earlobe hole right here, and this is its sister. So I wear these little ear climber type of things because I think they look really pretty like that, really elegant but also very different at the same time. I've been obsessed with ear climbers ever since I discovered them a year ago, so I think these are freaking adorable. I'm going to have the names of all the earrings that I'm talking about, by the way, so that you're not confused. And I wanted to also make one additional note because I noticed that one of my favorite pairs of earrings from Ana Luisa, which is another pair of these ear climber type of earrings. Let me hold them up for you so that I can show them. These guys, these had been out of stock for a really long time, and I finally saw them back on the website, so that's really, really exciting. So if you are into these style of earrings, like the little ear climber type of earrings, I also highly recommend these. we have been joined by the child. Anyway, the final pair of earrings are these guys. So they look like this, and they are so flipping elegant. I really love the way they fall, and they are just so perfect to wear with like a dress, especially something that has like a little bit of a longer neckline or a bit more of like an open neckline, or at least in my head that's how it works. I wouldn't really wear these with like a shirt or something, but with a dress, oh my gosh, they look absolutely beautiful. They are so elegant. I love them. You can find a link to Luisa's website in my description box, and I'm pretty sure that they're probably going to be doing really sweet Black Friday sales in the end of this month. Alrighty, the next favorite that I want to talk about is also not quite makeup yet. I mentioned in my previous monthly roundup and empties that I've become really obsessed with doing gel nail polish. Ironically, I don't have anything on my nails right now. I'm going to actually do my nails again tomorrow. But I wanted to talk about specifically two products that have been an absolute revelation for me when it comes to doing gel nails. So the first one is this peel off base. Now the brand that I'm talking about is called Pink Gellak, and I'm pretty sure it's a Dutch brand that you can only find maybe in the Netherlands and Belgium. I don't really know that you can find them internationally, but it's not so much about the specific product, but maybe the idea of the product. So once upon a time, when gel nails were exploding, I was really on the sides thinking, if these are difficult to get off, why the fuck am I going to bother? So I never really tried gel nails until recently. And then the original base that I had with this brand, I could still peel them off, but I could feel that it's not very healthy for my nails. There just comes a moment when towards the end you feel like your nails starting to lift, and then I would always like fiddle around with it until they're almost off, and then I would like pull the last piece, and I would feel that that pulling of the last piece is probably not the best for my nails, but I just wouldn't be able to help myself. I am 100% like in the bullseye, the target, you know, population customer that they were going for when they were creating this product. I have the attention span of a goldfish, so I really want to change my nails pretty much on a weekly basis, and this is exactly the product for me. Peel off already suggests what this is good for. This is basically a base that you can apply instead of like your regular base, and then it's easier, if not like super easy actually, to just peel off your nails once you're done with them, and it doesn't really damage your nails the way that applying the normal base would, and it just makes application of gel nail polish and removal of gel nail polish so much easier. They market this as like 7 to 10 days, and I do think that this is exactly what you get. You get anywhere between 7 to 10 days, and if you were someone who doesn't like fiddle around with their nails too much, I think you can even probably go for longer stretches of time just using this base. But because I bought it with the idea to change my nails more often, I've never actually had my nails for longer than 7 to 10 days. But in that amount of time, my nails hold up really well, just as well as with the normal base. And the other product that I want to talk about is another revelation when it comes to gel nails, and this is called their blooming gel. So not only do I like doing the gel nails because they just look so flawless for the entire time that you're wearing them, but also because it gives you the opportunity to create so much more like artsy things that I was never able to do with regular nail polish. And one of the things that I wanted to do from the very start is like marble nails. And I tried so many times, you know, I would do exactly as they're doing in the video, like to putting the colors together, swirling them together, then picking them up on my brush and trying to do the little swirly swirl on my nails. And I would fail every single time until I realized that they were actually doing that not over top of like the gel nails themselves, but using this product, the blooming gel. So basically this is like this very like thick viscous base that you put over top of your gel nails, or any sort of base. Honestly, you don't have to put the gel nail underneath, you just have to put your base and then this on top, and then you do the whole like marbling thing, and then you put it on. And because of how viscous this is, the liquids don't really like mix together too fast, and then by the time you like bake your nails under the lamp, it just creates this absolutely gorgeous marble effect. So if you want to do artsy things with gel nails, I highly recommend picking up a product like this. I'm sure that the Peel Off Base and the Blooming Gel are, you know, the names that this company has for them, and maybe other brands have other names for these types of products, but they have been an absolute revelation for me. So if you, like me, enjoy doing gel nails and artsy things with gel nails, then you're really going to enjoy both of these a lot. Alright, and now we can finally move on to the makeup type products, which I actually don't really have that many to talk about this month. I want to start with, I think, the two most prominent purchases that I have made in the past month when it comes to complexion products, and these are the bronzer and the blush from Gucci. The blush is a more recent release, the bronzer has been around for a while, and may I say that I enjoy and love both of these so very much. I've mentioned how enamored I am with the packaging of the bronzer, so there's really not much more to add here. That Tiffany blue with all the little like detailing on the compact, and just everything about this compact is so luxurious to me. And the bronzer formula itself is also really nice, but because it's a bronzer, like, we're not going to reinvent bronzer. Bronzer is bronzer, and you have to try really hard, I think, these days to fuck it up. But this is a beautiful formula, beautiful color. It's like a sort of like more warm tone, but without being too orange bronzer. It has a beautiful natural sheen to it, so it looks really beautiful on the skin. And I just realized that I still have the sticker here. Let me remove my sticker. Sometimes I will keep these stickers around because I think, well, maybe I will sell the product and then it's nicer if it comes with the sticker, but there's no way in hell I'm going to be selling this or giving it away because I absolutely love it. And I wanted to mention a tool that I really like using with this bronzer in case you're struggling with like over application and this bronzer being like too pigmented for you. My favorite tool to apply bronzers in the past couple of months has been this brush, which is part of the Sonia G Hinoki set. And I've talked about this set before. I did a dedicated video on it, and I think I spoke about it in monthly roundup and empties a couple of months ago. And I still stick to my opinion. This is an absolutely gorgeous brush to look at visually, but also now that I have also used it more, I cannot explain to you how incredibly beautiful it is when it comes to the application of bronzer, because all you have to do with this brush is just dip the tips a little bit, and then because of how dense but at the same time not too dense and stiff these bristles are, they really work the product into your skin to like this soft focus finish without over applying it. And even if you end up with like a little spot where you've over applied the product and you see a little patch on your skin, you just go in with this brush and within a couple of seconds you have solved all of your problems in life. So honestly, I cannot recommend this brush enough. Now this brush unfortunately comes in a set, so you cannot purchase it individually. It comes together with this brush, which is like a contour, blush, highlighter type of brush. Another really interesting and unique brush. I do really like this brush as well, but I think out of the two, my favorite one from the set is this one, just because of how unbelievably effortlessly and really smooth it applies product on your face. I cannot recommend this brush enough. I am not wearing the Gucci bronzer on my face today because I am actually wearing the other product that I picked up, the one that I was actually the most unsure about. But now that I'm pretty sure that this blush isn't going anywhere, I'm going to remove the sticker from the mirror as well, because this is the blush in the shade Rosy Beige. And I want to preface this by saying I love this blush, but I have to apply it in a very strategic way in order to get it to do what I want it to do. Because the blush, if you look at this in the pan, is like this beautiful rosy brown neutral looking shade. The problem is, and you saw that also in my demo video, that once you start to like buff this into your skin, so if you apply it and then you start blending it out, it's going to become very mauvey, very purpley and very pink, which is not what I wanted to do. I want it to remain this beautiful rosy brown on my skin. And if I just stamp it on, so let's say I take a very dense brush like this one from Spectrum Collections, I dip it in and then I just stamp it on my skin. I've actually shown that a couple of times on my channel already because I've used this on camera quite a few times. I do this a couple of times, and because the quality of the powder is so good and it sort of blends itself out, this is more than enough for you to get like a very smooth and very seamless application. And then I get this color to be exactly the color that I wanted, which is also what you see on my cheeks today. And not only do I love this blush because of the packaging and the formula, I have to say this blush is one of the most unique colors that I have in my collection. I was convinced that this looks like other colors that I have, but in reality I actually don't really have anything else quite like this. So I'm really happy because this is a rare, unique find in my collection. But because this blush is more cool toned, I went also for a more cool toned bronzer moment. So today I'm wearing my Charlotte Tilbury cream bronzer in the shade Fair, which is more like a bronzer shade. And something I wanted to mention together with this combination of bronzer and blush is my favorite highlighter that goes with this duo, and that is the Lunar Nude highlighter from last year's holiday collection from Pat McGrath. I just feel like this more cool toned, like silvery pink reflect highlighter is the absolute perfect finishing touch for the other two cheek products, and I've just been enjoying wearing these three together so much that even now, not to toot my own horn, but I look at myself in the viewfinder and I think my cheeks are looking like $1,000,000. I hope you agree. And the final makeup product that I want to discuss with you today before we move on to the empties is the Celestial Nirvana Mega Mothership collection from Pat McGrath Labs. I'm not going to talk about the other items that I picked up from this collection because I feel like it's been too short of a period of time for me to play around with them to really know how I feel about them. It really takes me at least a good month to really get to know products and to know how I feel about them in the long term. So I'm not going to talk about any of these new items now. I'm going to mention them in my next video in this series. But today we can definitely talk about the Mega Mothership because my final thoughts on that are pretty set in stone. I actually quite like this palette, you guys. You can get beautiful looks just using this palette, but what I like it the most for is a supporting act. It's just such a beautiful companion palette that you can pull out to do more colorful looks with your other Pat palettes, or you can pull out to do little like lower lash line or inner corner moments with more neutral looks. And honestly, there are individual shades in here, even within the metallics, that I was complaining about that I really like. Now, the reason I'm complaining about the metallics is because they're not very glittery. But at the same time, a lot of them are really beautiful tones, and I really like to use them together with other eyeshadows from Pat McGrath. For example, this pink shade here, oh my gosh, I love the tone of this shade for whatever reason so much. There is something about the specific tone of this pink that I think makes it probably my favorite ever pink from Pat McGrath. And imagine, for me to say this, how beautiful and unique I find this shade, because Pat has given us pinks in abundance. A lot of her other pinks just aren't my style, but this specific pink, there is something about the depth and the tone and just the way it looks on the lid and the way it pairs with the Astro shade from the Bridgerton 2 palette that just makes it absolute perfection. And the same can be said especially of these three neutral shades in here. Obviously we can nitpick about what we don't like about this palette, and as usual my biggest recommendation to you would be to think very carefully whether you want colorful mattes from Pat McGrath if you're picking up this palette, because there is quite an abundance of those in this specific Mega Mothership. And if that's not the case, then please don't buy it. I don't think you're going to enjoy it. But if you look at it as a supporting act, as a companion palette to a lot of your other like Pat McGrath or non-Pat McGrath eyeshadow palettes, then I think you're really going to enjoy this. Now, do I like this as much as my Celestial Odyssey palette, which is the only other Mega Mothership that I own? I don't have the Celestial Divinity from 2 years ago. No, Celestial Odyssey was my absolute favorite palette that was released last year, and to this day it's one of the Pat McGrath palettes that sparks the most joy when I think about it, because it's full of like shades and textures that I really enjoy from Pat McGrath. This one doesn't spark the same amount of joy, but I still really like it. I still don't regret having it, and I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of it. And in the last portion of this video, we're going to talk about my empties. I'm going to split it up into perfume, skincare, and finally we're going to talk about makeup. The perfume that I finished finally after many a year is this perfume from Nina Ricci, which I don't even know the name of anymore. There is something with an apple, because one of the most pronounced notes in this perfume are notes of like green apple, I think. I'm going to move a little bit to the side so that I can put right here the notes from Fragrantica for this perfume. I don't even think this exists anymore because I shit you not, I've had this perfume since 2014. I remember because there was a department store in the Netherlands, V&D, which doesn't exist for many years anymore, and when they were having their like final closing sales, I remember I purchased this quite cheap. I've had this since 2014. It takes me forever to finish perfumes, and this specific perfume, because it goes such a long way, like you put just a little bit and it stays on so well, I didn't really need to use a lot of. And because those beautiful apple notes are something I associate more with like autumn and winter, I used to wear this perfume seasonally, and I don't know, it just takes me for fucking ever to finish perfumes, you guys. I don't know, but I finally finished this perfume and honestly I really enjoyed it, and I feel like after 8 long years of love, this perfume and I can finally part ways. Moving on to skincare, the first product I want to talk about is this little mini that I finished here from Pat McGrath. This was a little sample size of her Divine Skin, whatever that product is called, the rose water thing, that she released recently, that costs a ridiculous amount of money. What do I think about this? It's nice, but I think depending on your skincare routine, your age and your expectations, you're going to either really love it or you're going to think it's completely overpriced, which is what I think it is. I have a very like extensive skincare routine with Paula's Choice products, and the only thing that I could imagine using this for was as a prep before applying my makeup, and I think it is also intended for that. I don't know that this is really intended to be like long-term skincare. I think it's meant to enhance your skin a little bit before you go on and apply makeup. It's like a bi-phase product, so you have to mix it in a little bit before you use it. It has a very lightweight texture, it sinks into the skin very quickly, it provides moderate hydration. I wouldn't call it the most hydrating day cream that I have. I actually think my Paula's Choice like normal SPF day cream provides much more hydration than this does. But if you want something extremely lightweight that just sort of quickly preps your skin before you're going to apply makeup, which is exactly what she does on the runway, then this product is perfect for you. But if you expect it to be the type of skincare that's going to do heavy lifting for your skin, then you're going to be super disappointed at how much money you paid and how little this is going to give you back. So this is nice, but not something that I would go out and purchase because it just does not fit in my skincare routine and it doesn't do anything magical for me to want to spend so much money on a full size. Now, something that I will gladly go out of my way and purchase in a full size over and over again is my favorite Essential Glow Moisturizer with Broad Spectrum SPF from Paula's Choice. This is my favorite day cream because it not only provides you with SPF, but it also gives you a lot of hydration, a lot of glow to the skin. And honestly, for me, it also blurs my skin a little bit. Like, I don't feel ever the need to use a primer anymore because this is just like that all-in-one product for me. I can't recommend this enough. I would only like to warn you though that it is mineral SPF, and second of all that it is like thicker in terms of texture and more hydrating. So if you have super oily skin, maybe this is not going to be your favorite moisturizer. But as someone with like normal-ish to slightly oily throughout the day kind of gal skin type, I personally really love this, and I don't feel like it makes my makeup break up more easily or faster than something a little bit more lightweight like the stuff from Pat McGrath. So yeah, I really like this day cream. I cannot recommend it enough. Another Paula's Choice favorite that I went through is my 2% BHA exfoliant. I think this is an absolute must-have if you have skin type like mine, which is, you know, you have a bit more enlarged pores, a bit more blackheads, you're a bit more prone to be oily. And finally, I went through my niacinamide 20% treatment. Niacinamide is another active ingredient that's one of my absolute favorite actives to use specifically on my skin because of, you know, the issues that I'm trying to target, which is not only, you know, anti-aging, but also the pores and the blackheads and all of that, and niacinamide is really good for that. They do have a product which contains 10% niacinamide, and they released this one with a 20% maybe about like a year or a year and a half ago, and obviously I wanted to give it a try. Do I think this does a better job than the 10% niacinamide? It's very hard to tell because I haven't really compared them extensively against each other, but to be honest with you, I think if you have the 10% and you're like happy with it, then you're probably good. I may have talked about the next empty that I want to mention previously. This is the Foreo Serum. So Foreo is my favorite like T-Sonic pulsation gadget brand. I have their Luna Mini, I have their UFO, and I have the microcurrent device. What was the name of it? I can't remember the name of the microcurrent. The Bear, the Foreo Bear. So this is meant to be used with their microcurrent device, because the microcurrent device requires a serum that is water-based so that it can conduct like the little electrical currents. But aside from that, I think this serum is like one of the best hyaluronic acid-based products on the market, because it just immediately plumps up your skin. I think it does a really good job together with the Bear to push that hyaluronic acid into your skin, but I'm pretty sure that even if you didn't have any of those gadgets and you just purchased serum as a hyaluronic acid-based serum, you would be really happy with it. It is a bit on the expensive side, and hyaluronic acid these days isn't one of the most, you know, groundbreaking ingredients. So I don't know that I would recommend that you go out and purchase this, especially if it's full price. I usually wait for a sale, like 25-30% to purchase it, and I'm really happy with it because it does really work well with the Bear device, and it always like without a fail makes my skin look really plump, which is what I'm going for in the morning before I apply my makeup. I want my skin to look youthful, plumped up, and you know, ready for the application of makeup, and this together with the Bear just does a really good job, which is why it has become one of my staples. I'm definitely going to go out and repurchase another bottle of this with the Black Friday sales, because right now I don't have it and I really miss it. Finally, let's talk about a product that's breaking my heart. This was my very last bottle of the chamomile silky cleansing oil from the Body Shop. I am so devastated, you guys, because they discontinued this. This was my favorite makeup remover for many years, because it was this beautiful, silky, oil-based remover that removes all of your makeup, including a water-resistant, you know, mascaras, and my Estee Lauder little black primer, which is a little bitch to have to take off. It removed all of these effortlessly without ever feeling like my skin is like greasy after I've taken off my makeup. And for years, I never wanted to hear about anything else. Imagine my shock, disappointment, and absolute horror when I went to the Body Shop a couple of months ago to find out that this product has been discontinued and replaced with something else. I made the mistake of actually buying 2 bottles of the replacement. I despise the replacement. I don't know how it's called. It comes in like a little bottle. There's again something with chamomile, but it's not an oil. It has like a watery texture and it does nothing, okay? It barely removes non-water resistant makeup. I was so disappointed in it. Luckily, one of my friends who tends to do her makeup a little bit more lightly than I do said that she was a fan of it, so I was able to immediately declutter it to her, because I absolutely hated the replacement of this product. I'm absolutely devastated that this is gone, and I don't know that I have yet found a replacement for this in this price range, especially on sale, that works just as well. I did purchase one of the Garnier Micellar waters, one of those biphase ones, which sort of imitates this one, but while it does the job almost as good as this one, it's not as good as this. And I really miss this. Finally, I have a couple of makeup empties. Don't get your excitement levels too high, because none of these are like really exciting. The first product that I finished is another one of my little black primers from Estee Lauder. This is another staple, indispensable product in my makeup routine, because it does something that no other product can do, which is it provides a curl that holds throughout the day. It applies, it provides a base for my mascara, so that my mascara does actually look a lot better over top of it. And I actually have done a specific video where I even demonstrated how I use this product, which I can link in the cards up for you if you're interested. But while I never want to splurge on expensive mascaras anymore, because nothing I've ever tried in the luxury range has ever compared to my favorite from Kiko and just generally from the drugstore, I do think that this product is worth the investment, and even though it is a little bit more on the expensive side because it is from Estee Lauder, it is one of those products that goes a long way and really does something that no other product can do. Last year I purchased the lash primer from Lancome, and that not even remotely, like doesn't even hold a candle compared to the Estee Lauder one. It does make your lashes look a little bit thicker after you apply the mascara, but it does nothing to hold the curl, nothing, okay? As soon as I apply mascara over this, they just go. Alright, I finished another one of my L'Oreal Brow Artist Plumper thingies because I cannot be bothered to do anything more with my lashes than comb a little bit of like a lash mascara through them. So this has been also a product that I've repurchased many a time over the years. And last but not least, another not super exciting makeup empty, but another staple. This is my Essence Long Lasting Pencil in the shade Hot Chocolate, which is my favorite little, you know, twist up pencil to apply here in the bases of my lashes to make them look a little bit thicker, because it's very creamy, it doesn't break off too easily. It just, you know, a very inexpensive but really good, you know, solid product. Anywho, somehow I still managed to ramble for full 50 minutes for the few makeup items that I had over here. Hopefully you enjoyed hanging out and this video nonetheless. Let me know what your monthly roundup and empties looks like. Are there products worth mentioning? What are those? What would you recommend? I would love to chat about that with you in the comment section below. As usual, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!